Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Bose from the 19th hole. I've got the pro playthrough here for the Pacific Cup Tournament. Hole number 1, par 4. We'll play this one to the left-hand side. We're going to be using an extra mile 8, and I'm going to use a berserker ball. We'll be playing at plus 10% for our elevation. The reason we use a berserker ball is so we don't have to overpower our shot that much. We'll have to overpower a little bit with the extra mile 8, and if you use lower level extra mile club, you will have to overpower it some as well. So go 5 top and 4 right spin for our spin adjustments. Then we're going to position our target to our desired location with our third bounce in the rough on the other side of the bunker. And we see we're about 3 rings into overpower. So we know once we make our adjustment here for the wind, plus 10% max, then we're going to have to push up 3 rings to get to our desired location for our landing spot. We want to pay attention to how far in overpower we have to go to get to our 3 rings, and it's just about 1 ring of overpower is going to be needed for this shot. So just a little bit of overpower, we hit this one perfect, and this one's going to bounce nicely on the first and the second fairway, and it's going to hit that rough on the third bounce, which is exactly what we want to see happen. And then it rolls out to the green and leaves me a very nice little short putt. Now if you want to play this shot, with something other than a power 5 ball, definitely be prepared to overpower the shot more. So I definitely would recommend a power 5 ball, as I see this being a hole that requires you to eagle if you want to have any kind of chance to banner on the weekend round. Hole number 2, par 5. This is definitely an albatross chance on this hole. We're going to be playing our shot to the right-hand side. We'll play plus 10% on the drive and 0% on the second shot. So for the drive, we're going to be playing it with an extra mile. I'm going to be using a katana ball. You can also use a kingmaker if you have a good supply of kingmakers and you want to cut down your wind a little bit. But a katana ball will be sufficient for sure on this hole. So we're going with red ring cutting the rough, right on the edge of the rough line. And we're going with max spin, and I wouldn't go more than 4.5 bars of topspin on this shot. And as I see, we did stick with the kingmaker ball, but you can play this one with the katana. We make our adjustment, plus 10% max. You can use a little bit of curl if you want, but I think the left spin and the right to left tailwind is sufficient, and just let that ball naturally move from right to left. As you see, we move up quite nicely. A little bit of curl would have put us a little bit farther left in that fairway, maybe at a little bit better position, but also if you left curl and hit great left, then you're really going to be in trouble on your drive. So for your second shot here, we're going with a sniper, and we're playing 0% elevation on this shot. Your spins, like top spin, will be different depending on where you're at on your drive. And I'm at max here. I drop back a little bit, and I feel like I found like a little bit of a funnel here. So we're going to test that out. And ball guide short and just right of the hole, trying to play that right to left wind push, that natural right to left wind push. So that funnel, I feel like, is not one of the funnels that's really easy to find. So if you do try to find it and you have difficulty finding it, definitely don't waste time to where you time out on your shot. Just play your shot. You got to make sure you get the eagle here. But if you can find that funnel, it may give you a little bit better of a chance to drop this for the albatross. As you've seen, we came really close to dropping it. If I had gone straight at the hole with my ball guide, we would have definitely sunk it. So that's definitely a very good hole to play and have a chance at the albatross. Like I said, 0% is going to be your elevation. And if you can find that funnel, awesome. If not, definitely don't worry about it and get the eagle. Hole number 3, this is going to be a really good chance at getting an ace. We'll be playing this one with a driver and a power 1 ball. So if you have a wind ball that has power 1 stat, you can still use that as well. 6.5 backspin is what we want with our sniper, so you need a sniper 9 or 10 for this shot, plus 20% for the elevation change. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to line up our shot with the ball guide going straight to the hole. So that's going to put your blue ring kind of close to the fringe, and the blue ring close to the rough on the right, and then our white ring close to the front fringe along the green. So once you got it lined up to the hole, then you're going to add 1 bar left spin onto the shot, and then you're going to make your adjustment at plus 20% max. Now this shot right here has a really good chance of going in as long as you play the setup correctly and you hit perfect on your tee shot. You see ours comes in very nicely, and it's just barely going to miss right on that right edge, but it's a great chance to drop this hole on right here, and good luck to you all in dropping that shot. Hole number 4, par 4. Now I know some of you all have seen the rough bump to the left. I'm going to be trying to play the shot to the right-hand side and setting up the thorn shot to the hole. So if you rather would play the rough bump to the left, I'm sure there's some other really good playthroughs that show you how to play it. And it's definitely not a bad way to go, but I know some people don't like going with the rough bump, so this would be your alternate option if you're not the rough bump kind of guy or girl. We're going with top spin and right spin here. We're going to go with about 4.5 bars of top spin and max right spin that we can get. I'm going to put the red ring close to the edge of the bunker, and then we're going to adjust for our wind plus 10% max. And then we just want to hit this one perfect. You know, our goal is to go over the bunker and shoot up through the fairway in between the two bunkers and have a nice little line to the green for a chance at the eagle with our thorn. So the way we're going to be playing this next shot is a thorn plus 10% for our downhill shot. And this is definitely a difficult shot. You want to try to find a spot on the green that gives you a consistent bounce. And for me, I'm going to try to play the shot right off the top of the hill. So I find my min, I find my max, and then I find where I'm aiming the shot. And we're pretty close to mid, which is what I play on the shot. So we're going to use about 2 bars of backspin and then left spin to aim our ball guide towards the hole. We want to try to eyeball that ball guide to the hole as best as possible. And then we want to make our adjustment here. We played mid adjustment here on this shot, and this is definitely one of those holes that your adjustment is very important, because any kind of misadjustment, that means you'll be bouncing on the edge of that hill and your ball will go left or right. We must have been a little bit off on our adjustment there. As you see, we missed to the right of the cup, but it's definitely a great way to possibly get the eagle if you don't want to go for the rough bump. Hole number 5 here is next, par 3. And we'll be playing this one with our sniper, and we'll be playing with a kingmaker ball on this attempt. Plus 35% max adjustment is your adjustment here for the elevation. And we're going to be playing about 5 bars of backspin, 2 bars of right spin on this shot. You want to play with your blue ring just barely into the edge of the rough line here, with the ball guide going straight at the hole as best as possible. As you can see, my whole white ring is all the way down into that bunker. So that's definitely another aim point that you can use as well, with the blue ring just barely into the rough. So we're going to play a max plus 35% adjustment here on this shot. As I said, 5 back, 2 right, and we just try to hit this one perfect. This one's going to come in quite nicely with a really good line, and it's just, we just didn't get the drop here. But I believe that shot right there is a great way to play this hole, and it'll give you a good chance at getting the ace. Hole number 6, par 5. This is definitely another great chance at the albatross here on this hole. We'll be playing this one with a plus 10% elevation on the tee shot. We'll be using our extra mile. We'll go with about 4 top and 4 to 4.5 bars of left spin on this tee shot. We do have a straight tailwind, so we will be setting our shot up with the second bounce just past the edge of the fringe line and expecting that ball to bounce a little bit farther with the extended ball guide from the tailwind. We don't want to land too close up to the edge of this rough line, because this ball does have a tendency sometimes to sail a little bit on this tee shot. So definitely give yourself a little bit of space on that landing for sure. You can go with a little bit of left curl if you would like, but it's definitely not necessary. As you see, that extended ball guide and wind definitely pushed that landing spot up a good amount past where we had first intended it to land. 372 is our drive, not a bad drive right there. That's going to put us in position for our Goliath rough bump. We'll be playing this shot at 0% elevation. You want to try to find your min and max, and then try to guesstimate, your numbers as far as your club percentage. So I would say, this is about probably 75% club percentage here on this shot, just based on where the max was and where the mid was. We're going to go with just about half a bar of top spin. We're going to go with a little bit of right spin, and then we're going to aim our shot at the hole and right just a little bit through the hole with level 8 Goliath. We make our adjustment here for our wind, and just try to hit this one perfect. If you hit perfect, you have a good chance. This is definitely a hole that is kind of tricky, and it's not a guaranteed hit. You'll play it one way, you'll miss left of the hole, you'll make an adjustment. The next time you'll miss right of the hole. It's definitely a tricky hole that likes to play games with you. But it's a good chance at the Albatross, and as long as you feel comfortable with going with the rough bump, it's definitely the way to play. Hole number 7, par 4. This is an interesting hole, and we're going to be playing this one to the right side with our extra mile. And I would definitely recommend going with a power 3 ball on this hole. I use a Kingmaker to try to cut down on the wind on my second shot a little bit. Max topspin and right spin. And what we're just trying to do is trying to judge our landing up there close to the edge of that rough line. But definitely make sure when you make your adjustment for your rings that you do kind of eyeball your landing zone, and make sure that you don't push up too far on this shot, because if you push up too far on this shot and you accidentally maybe go with a little bit of overpower, you could end up hitting the rough or even that bunker. So as you see, I've moved my adjustment back just a little bit there at the last second to be safe. A little bit of right curl will definitely help this shot. Definitely not necessary, but right curl definitely will help you move farther down the fairway and keep you farther away from that left-hand side rough. Sometimes your ball can get away from you and get over to that left rough, especially if you go with too much topspin with higher level clubs. Maybe you have higher level Apox or Thor or something like that. The second shot here, we're playing at 0% for the elevation. I find my min there with my take shot button, and we find my max, and it looks like we're landing fairly close to mid, right there on the edge of the fringe, maybe a little bit closer to like 60%, but I'm pretty sure, I think we just play mid numbers on this hole, just for the sake of playing through the video. So we're going with a couple bars of backspin here. I do offset a little bit to the right just because of that straight right to left wind, but then I find out that I really did not need to do that, and we could have just gone straight at the hole. As you're going to see, we hit this one perfect, and it's going to come in quite nicely, and it's going to come in pretty much right where I aimed it. So we could have gone right at the hole with that adjustment and sunk the shot. Hole number 8, par 3. This is a tough hole right here. This is not a hole that I would expect to be getting the ace on for sure, and we're going to be trying the rough bump. I've tried this one 2 times total, and I haven't really come close on it either time. So we're going to play plus 10%. We'll be playing in mid-distance for our quarterback. And I go with 3 right spin and a little bit of top spin. So I'm thinking that, I like the plus 10% mid, but I think I would just play with 3 right spin and not worry about any top spin at all. As you're going to see with this shot, it's going to come in a little bit high above the cup, and I believe that if we didn't have that top spin on the shot, we would have had a much better chance and angle at sinking this shot for the ace. So we hit perfect after our plus 10% mid adjustment, and we come in nicely. It rolls good, but as you're going to see, it comes in just above the top cup, and that 0.5 topspin definitely could have been the reason for that. So I would go with 3 right spin, play that one at 10% mid distance, and take your ball guide right to the hole. Hole number 9. We're going to show you 2 different ways to play this one with an APOC 3 and then one with the rock. First with the rock, we're going to be playing with the Kingmaker ball. We'll play 0% elevation for this drive, and we want to make sure we give ourselves some distance from that rough line. So we're going to land our shot with the red ring, just barely cutting into the edge of the rough line, and then we're going to make our adjustment here, plus 0% max adjustment. And then we're going to make our shot. We're going to use as much curl as we can find and muster on the rock. As you see, we hit this one perfect. We use full top spin and right spin. It's going to come in quite nicely. And as you see, we could either laid off the right spin a little bit or laid off the curl a little bit on that shot. I would say maybe lay off the right spin a little bit and continue with the full curl. But good spot for our shot right there. So for our second drive, we're going to be going with the APOC this time. Same type of theory. We're going to go with 4 top spin, max right spin, and we're going to aim our shot there right along the edge of the rough line. So from here, we're going to be setting up our shot with our yellow ring right there along the edge of the rough line, and then we'll make our adjustment for the wind plus 0% elevation at max distance with this 5.9 wind. So we adjust for our wind, and now we're going to use our curl here. As you see, we're going to use about the same amount of curl as we used for the rock, and it's going to come in quite nicely, once again, very clearly far away from the edge of the rough, so you don't have to worry about that. And it comes in nicely towards the end of the fairway. It's going to set us up for a chance for our second shot. Now, if you get farther down in that fairway section, then like I am, you can use the sniper. If you don't feel comfortable with going that far, then you might want to use your big dog. So we have to adjust back into the wind. So we're going to line this shot up a little bit short of max, and then line up our ball guide. We're going to play a slight offset for our right to left headwind, and I think we end up with about 2 bars of topspin, and then right spin to our location. We're going to play this shot, not quite max numbers, just a little bit below max numbers, at plus 10% elevation on the shot. We hit this one perfect. Let's see how this one comes in. Nice bounce and a nice roll. It looks like it has really good speed, and it's going to come in just short, or just right of the cup. Almost dropped it for the albatross. So definitely very encouraging to see that shot on that hole, as it's a very tough shot to get the drop. All right, y'all, thank you very much for joining me for this pro playthrough, and hopefully you all enjoyed it, learned a thing or two, and you all can do well in the tournament. Have a great day. God bless.